Today at Let's Talk Marketplace, we talked about
facts and figures from marketplaces Allegro and B&Q, new marketplace launches, and Ingrid goes on a rant about the PR machinery of TikTok Shop.
Well, it is very annoying. Have fun listening. Let's Talk Marketplace.
The Marketplace podcast with Ingrid Laumer and Valerie Dichtel.
Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Marketplace and to another installment of Valerie and Ingrid pick at Marketplace news, because the month of March has come to an end, and so we will take a closer look at the most important things that happened in our small little bubble in the last 4 weeks.
Yes, and I wouldn't say that it's a small bubble, to be very honest. And yeah, welcome to our next news-only episode. I've been I've been looking forward to this one. You see how excited I am. Actually, there's a lot of things going on at the moment. And to be honest, I hardly find time to digest the news. So if I didn't get our own Marketplace Universe weekly newsletter, I would be totally out of touch.
Yeah, well, understandable, I think. So about that, should we tell people quickly about what we're working on at the moment?
Yeah, well, exciting news. And actually, we talked also slightly about in the Zalando episode about it. We are building.
But things happened since then, you know. It's like 2 weeks later, and we are working heavily on it. So we've got some updates already.
Yeah, we are working on a Marketplace Universe brand community for the top tier brands. And we're starting this for fashion, sports, accessoires, and shoes brands in June already. And thank you to all the people who contacted me after the Zalando episode and asking about the brand community. We already had talks with really the big brands. I don't want to spoiler everything, but if you are interested, if you're working for a top tier brand, and if you're a decision maker of the marketplace business in your company, then contact me on LinkedIn, etc., and we will make a call. And we will also start a community for the hardlines category, as we name it, for consumer electronics, home and living, home appliances, what
DIY,
else? DIY tools, garden. We will start it especially for the same target group in terms of decision makers of the brands, and it's only for brands, only. Yeah. We start this one in October. So if you're interested in that one, also please contact us, and then we will share with you more details, because we are actually, right now running everything starting the sales calls and creating the website and putting the benefits together and the presentation to sell it to your bosses and the program plan and the community tool and
yes, lots and lots of things that are parallel here. But that's great fun, actually, because we're really creating that from scratch, and we are constantly exchanging our ideas and refining it. And then you come back with the first calls you had with the first brands who are interested, and then they give us feedback on what we have planned, and then we adapt our plans a bit to better fit the needs of the community that is already forming. So that is a lot of work, but also very rewarding, I think, because I feel that we are really building something that is something that is appreciated and needed. Yeah, it's cool.
And we really want to create a safe space where you can independently exchange with others who have the similar challenges as you. And that you learn from each other, that everyone shares and support each other. That's really why we're doing this. So I'm quite excited. And the nitty-gritty details is always a bit annoying, but it's always also important, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a bit lacking of news. So Ingrid.
Yeah. Well, that's what you've
What's
got
the big
before,
one?
So. Well, I don't think you've missed the biggest one
of
March, because TikTok Shop launched in France, Germany, and Italy. Today, because we're recording on Monday, so today is launch day. When this comes out, it will have been 3 days ago. So we can't really dive deep into what that start meant or how it went, because it's at the moment happening. But Yeah, I mean, this has been the talk of the whole month,
Talk of
I
the
think,
town, yeah.
because everyone is going on about it, and brands are asking us about it, and retailers are having their first experiences or having already connected to the merchant tool, and lots of social commerce agencies are on the bandwagon. And can I go on a very quick rant on the PR masterpiece of TikTok here?
The journalist rant.
Yeah, because this morning I realized that TikTok Shop had actually been on German national news, like the morning magazine of the ZDF. And I was like, what the hell? How did you manage that? Because let's be honest, of course, TikTok Shop for our
You're jealous, Ingrid. You're jealous.
No, I'm not. And honestly, I'm quite disappointed with my colleagues because, come on, why? Just because TikTok Shop sends you a PR message, a press release, you are not supposed to just do a piece on them. It's not your job. Okay, this is not your job as a
not your
national
group,
TV journalist to pick up every single bit of PR release just because TikTok sends you something, and there's not much else going on at the moment. Yeah. So everyone's jumping on that, and what I think is really missing is a bit of, I don't know, critical thinking here, and just looking at what is happening here. Okay, new channel is coming up. That's interesting for our e-commerce bubble. It won't change life for TikTok users that much, to be honest.
True. Yeah.
So I don't know about national news, but still. So let's just look at that and, of course, explore this new possibility, but also take it a bit with a grain of salt, because this is not for every brand. This is not for every retailer. This is not for every product. This is there will be some very, very interesting stories here to tell, and some great success stories as well. But it's not, I don't know, the messiahs of e-commerce.
I know what you mean.
Come on, just tone it down a little bit at least. But I don't know. Yeah. So, excuse me for ranting.
Agreed. But if you want to know more about TikTok and how we see it, and also from like the Chinese perspective into the Western European perspective, and if we are ready for it or not, you can listen to our last episode with Ed Sanders about exactly this topic. So tell me more. What happened as well?
Well, apart from TikTok, it was figures time, because it runs March.
Annual figures time.
The annual figures coming in from several companies. We had our own dedicated episode for the Zalando figures, where you dove deep into what they did in 2024. But there were, of course, figures from eBay, which weren't that. Not that bad and not that great, actually. Then there were figures from B&Q, for example, the British DIY marketplace from Kingfisher, and they were quite nice. They generated some sales of £3.8 billion in 2023 to 2024, and just 145 million of those came from the marketplace business. So that is growing nicely and still a very interesting channel. Still only open to select merchants in Europe, because it has opened for, I think, sellers in Spain and I think Denmark. So some countries, but definitely not merchants from Germany and France. But they're working on that. So that is an interesting one. And Allegro also gave out their figures for 2024, also quite nice. They grew by 7% compared to the year before, and have now a GMV of 15.3 billion euros, so plus 10% there. So also good development, I think, for Allegro.
But actually, Ingrid, if I calculate like on the side, the 154 billion from B&Q, like compared to their sales, it's just 4%.
Yeah, it's still very small, but it's growing very good, and it grew very fast in a short time. And you have to see that the generated sales of these 3.8 billion, that is online and offline combined.
So that's unfair.
Yeah.
So the calculation is unfair. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so I don't have any figures on just the e-commerce business. I don't think this is something that the Kingfisher is, publicly sharing. But and I'm not deep enough into the figures there to make an educated guess, to be honest. So, yeah, but it is still, if you just look at the number itself, the marketplace is just a bit over 2 years old. So
fair.
Is and has only been active in the UK for a long time. So I think that is a good development here. Yeah.
Okay, so Allegro, you told us already, right? How is it about eBay? Because you also said it was okay-ish, or did we talk about in another episode about it?
We did have some news on that.
Already in the past, right?
Yeah, we did. And it, I remember that it was, not overwhelming. But compared to how eBay had been doing in the years before, it wasn't actually that good. It was quite good, actually. It was something that, it's always a bit difficult to say because eBay doesn't give you any figures on each of their countries' markets. Just the overall numbers. So it's not that easy to really say, how it's really doing.
Because
in Europe. But overall, wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the figures.
But before we do that, really, I would say let's have a quick look at our partner Exporto.
Yes, we should.
Internationalization and its challenges are a big concern to many of you. Shipping, returns processing, tax regulations, and one-stop shop procedures. All of this can cause quite a headache, even when selling to Austria. And don't even get me started on the UK.
Yeah, better don't. Service providers such as Exporto can help. Exporto has specialized cross-border e-commerce logistics in Europe, and with their automated technology and strong partner network, Exporto ensures that online retailers can ship internationally as smoothly as they do in their home market.
And their plug-and-play solutions integrate seamlessly into existing processes, covering everything from automated customs, clearance, and tax handling to localized last-mile delivery. More than 200 brands, including Mr. Specs, Outfittery, and Snox, already trust the all-in-one solution for Exporto to power their international growth.
If you want to learn more, then you better not miss our upcoming webinar, Selling to Post-Brexit UK, where Vanessa Schmidt from Exporto and I will be diving deep into the challenges of cross-border trade to the UK, and we'll do our best to answer all of your questions. I'll be updating our country quadrant for that, and Vanessa has done some incredibly deep-diving research, so don't miss out on that. Join us on April 8th at 11 a.m. and we will link the webinar in our show notes. Yeah, so that was that. Then what else do I have? There have been some new marketplace launches in March. Some bigger than others, some new country marketplaces and stuff like that. So, for example, Amazon has launched in Ireland, which has been coming up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Also quite an interesting marketplace, I think. And also Amazon has announced that they will be launching Amazon Haul, their low-cost offshoot platform that is in direct competition with Shein and Temu. And they will bring that to Europe before the end of the year.
Okay.
So, yeah. Let's see. I don't really know. I don't have an opinion yet about Amazon Haul. Do you?
No, not really, to be very honest. I think we will get one as soon as it's arrived, or maybe even a bit earlier.
Yeah.
I would say we'll keep an eye on it. And I think we also have an episode about Amazon soonish, right?
Yes. I invited Malte Carsten to come back and give us our now already traditional Amazon update, because we've been doing that once a year for the last 2 years. So this is the next one.
Yeah.
And I will definitely ask him about Amazon Haul.
Yeah, we can squeeze him out about Amazon Haul. Yeah,
because when he comes to our episode, he will just have been at the Amazon headquarters in Luxembourg. So let's see if what he's going to tell us here. Yeah, looking forward.
Then we have some other marketplaces who expanded, right?
Yes, MediaMarkt Saturn has opened in Belgium. and just recently, last 2 weeks ago or something. And they also already plan to launch in Poland and Turkey this year.
Oh, nice. But they are already online in Austria, Spain, Italy, and the Netherlands, right?
Yeah. Expansion, international expansion is a big topic for them.
So 5 countries right now and 3 more.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is why we did a longish piece on our website on how to start on MediaMarkt Saturn internationally as well. So if you're interested, maybe check that out. Yeah. What else? Then we have an interesting new marketplace, Autodoc, which is it's a Berlin startup, a retailer actually for vehicle spare parts and accessories. They are already active with their online shop in 27 countries, and they have now opened their own marketplace.
Okay.
They have opened that just in France, which I find interesting because they're a German company, but they started out in France. I'm not sure why. Again, I'm not too deep into the vehicle parts business.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Germany is a particularly difficult market maybe for that. But I'm interested to see where this is going, because this is such an interesting industry.
Yeah.
And
That's
there are
true.
not that many marketplaces out there. Mostly it's eBay.
Yeah.
Because it's so fiendishly difficult to get this mass of products organized. So,
in a specialized catalog. Yeah.
Yes,
That's really the nitty gritty.
yeah. Really interesting. So, and Autodoc has been doing very well over the last years. And so this is a strong retailer, of course, again, backed up by a miracle solution, as often the case. But they are, that could be an interesting niche.
Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes I get questions about like, hey, we're doing auto parts, car parts. And I was like, yeah. eBay?
Next question. Yeah, eBay. And there's not that much. There are some platforms, because I was already asked if I could do a marketplace quadrant on them. And I was like, first, this is a very special industry, and I just lack the insights. And secondly, there's not that many platforms that I could really fill.
That would be the smallest quadrant ever.
I think so, yeah.
And how do you say, like, is it expensive or like luxury or not?
Oh, I'm sure there you could do that if you had any idea about the products.
That's true, but we are both not car persons, right?
Not really. Yeah.
I would need to ask my boyfriend. Definitely. He was like, I can do this for you. Okay. I have no clue.
Yeah,
like,
good.
like how the exchange of motor oil costs for a Bugatti. I was like, I have no clue. I know how much mine was last week. It was enough.
Okay. Yeah, he's hired. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but still, Autodoc, interesting story. And maybe we should, dive into this in an episode and just invite a retailer over that has more idea about these things than we have. I have someone in mind, actually. Now, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So that was that. And those were, I think, the main news, actually. But we have some more stuff to discuss after another short break.
Do you want to meet us live again? Then come to the e-commerce day of our partner Kaufland Global Marketplace. More than inspiring 30 lectures on 3 stages await you, for example from Philipp Lahm and Michael Menzel from Google.
Plus more than 100 exhibitors for everything that is important for your marketplace business. So be one of over 2,000 people who, like you, are passionate about e-commerce, and meet up in Cologne to exchange ideas and network. And Valerie and I will also be there, and we've got a new format to present you, and we call it Speed Connect. So come and see what that means and what can happen in just a few minutes between marketplace people.
Yeah, we are talking about the 11th of April in Cologne, and we are meeting at 10:20 on the conference, and you can meet us there. And the best part is, with our exclusive promotion code, you get 30% off from your ticket price. So register right away at ecommerce.de/tickets, and you can find all the important information again in the show notes, as well as the promo code. So interesting. More news, you said, Ingrid.
I did a bit of deep diving here because sometime last week I looked up something on Shein.de actually, and then I realized, gee, this is not a fashion retailer anymore. There's lots of other categories here. There's electronics and sports and outdoor and home and DIY and pet supplies and you name it. Everything is there. And I didn't realize that before. So I was like, is that new? So I did some digging and found out, okay, no, it's actually not new. Shein has opened its marketplace to other categories already back in 2023. But it's just not in the in the general mind, because still people think that Shein is a fashion platform, don't they? So so I turned to ecd.com as I used to do if I look for nice numbers, and just try to find out how important these categories are for Shein. And lo and behold, I realized that in some countries, in the countries where Shein is doing particularly well and is already top one in fashion, in some of these countries, they are also very important and very strong in other categories. So, for example, in Portugal, Shein is number one in fashion, but they also they rank in the ECDB.com ranking on second place for home and living, on third place for beauty and care. Always talking about, this is the ranking for the online shops that are doing best in this category, not just marketplaces, online shops. Yeah, so it is really interesting here to see that. That's Portugal, and in Spain it's similar there, and in all the categories actually. It was something that was amazing to me.
Well, I would say what still surprises me is that fashion is so strong, not in Portugal, but in France to be number one, in Spain and Italy. In Portugal, it's not surprising because Zalando and About You are not in Portugal yet. Zalando will come to Portugal, Greece, and Bulgaria this year. So I'm interested in seeing like how will this reflect. But in Spain, for example, Italy and France, there are other big players for fashion. So that's quite interesting. And I think also Portugal is like very well covered from Shein, as well as Spain. I think, I mean, localization wise, that makes sense because they are pretty strong and like near to each other, the countries. So, and also in terms of like logistics, it's easier to ship to both of them. But to be as strong, that's really interesting, especially in Spain, because I would say Spain is also somehow well covered already with marketplaces.
Yeah, not that much, because Spain is still a growing market when it comes to our marketplaces and e-commerce in general. So there's still some market shares to be gained there, and this might also be the reason why Shein is doing well in other categories, because like there in Spain the categories of electronics and DIY or hobby and leisure aren't that covered yet. So of course there's Amazon and it's strong, but as e-commerce is still growing, there's room for new players to gain market shares, and obviously Shein is doing exactly that. And I was just surprised because, of course, I mean, if you look at fashion and if you have a strong fashion player, then it's sort of a no-brainer that they also go into beauty and care. That's the same thing is happening for Zalando, of course. And in home and living, okay, they at least often share a part of the same target group. Yeah. So, okay, also. But electronics, DIY and tools... I wouldn't go looking for that on Shein, but obviously people in Spain and Portugal do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also depending on what kind of things you are looking for, right? So if you are looking for really like brands, then I would say in either category, it's not yet as important or relevant, Shein as a marketplace, because Shein is still the price entry categories, I would say. Yeah. But obviously, this is working for countries who have a smaller household income. So I think that's in direct relation. But speaking about Shein as a marketplace and the relevance, I see that some brands are really doing deep dives. Some are slowly starting and trying it out, especially also retailers. Because retailers, they are really lacking of marketplaces in the meanwhile. But interesting. So let's see.
Yeah, absolutely interesting. And on the same note, actually, I just realized in the last days that Vinted seems to be going in the same direction here, or in a similar direction, because I've been stumbling over their marketing campaign more and more on my own social media and stuff, and they seem to be campaigning heavily, not just for sell your used fashion items, but also for toys and pets and electronics as well. So they seem to be going in a similar generalistic direction as well.
So, but Vinted is still a C2C marketplace, right?
It is a C2C marketplace mostly, but they have a growing area for retailers that sell used goods.
Okay. So can I get your used cat there?
No,
as
but you
sell,
could. No,
they
but
say like pets. You said.
I could ask. No, but you could give
pet
me
products, right?
a used cat scratch post, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff
no
like
pets.
that.
So
no.
Just to be clear.
Hopefully.
Maybe. I heard actually one time at Amazon that someone accidentally in a return parcel put his cat because the cat was like in there.
Well, every cat owner can understand how that happens. Because there's a box and it will be entered.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things in life that just happen. So, yeah, but I think that at least it's not part of their campaign.
That's true.
Yeah,
so
anyway.
Let's see.
Yeah, right. So still interesting developments here. I think March was lacking a bit of the big news, apart from TikTok Shop, of course. But there's still, I have a feeling that things are going on below the surface in a way. Yeah. So let's see what happens in April, and we'll talk about that in 4 weeks' time. Right.
Yes.
And of course, if you want to keep up with the news yourself, best subscribe to our newsletter, the Marketplace Universe weekly newsletter, the one and only piece you need to read each week for your Marketplace news update. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we talking about next week? I think we slightly already talked about it.
Next week?
Amazon, right?
No, not yet. No, that's still a bit on. No, next week we will be talking about the German market, actually.
Oh, yes. German market, really?
About the German market, yes. Which might seem surprising for the two of us, as we're both German, but as we have often gotten feedback from you that it is interesting to hear our thoughts on the German market, especially if you're an international listener. We have now invited Dex van Hofwegen from Channel Engine, because they just did an update on their marketplace behavior report, which is a very interesting study on how people shop on marketplaces. You did a great webinar together with Channel Engine on that one. And they have now done an update on that, focusing solely on the German market. And I thought it would be interesting to talk with someone who is looking from the outside, as Dex is, on the German market, because he's helping a lot of international brands to be successful in our home market, and challenge him a bit, from our own national point of view, and see what the study brings and what we think of it. That's what we're going to do next week.
Sounds quite interesting, because the marketplace webinar was already quite interesting. If you want to watch the recording, you can go on our website, marketplace-universe.com/connect. Whatever. Go on the website and then
events,
webinars, and then scroll down. Then you'll find the recording. So looking forward to speak with you next week again in English. And I'm really glad that we changed mostly like 80% to English, because it's much easier for all of you to listen to us.
Yes.
And looking forward to connect you. And speak to you soon.
Yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.
You listen to Let's Talk Marketplace,
the Marketplace podcast with Ingrid Lommer and Valerie Dichtel.